the gaming market is starting to break. As we all know, the gaming industry seems to be on fire at the moment. Prices of consoles going up year after year. It feels like it's kind of a losing battle, and with that means developers are less likely to want to innovate with their games when no one can even play on their consoles anymore because they're too expensive. So we're going to see what exactly is up with this and watch this video. The gaming market is starting to break. I'm live every day. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it, shall we?
This is a PlayStation 5. It came out in 2020 at $399. And
oh my god, it's been 6 years? Oh, fuck me.
now, even though it's 6 years old, it costs $599. Nintendo's announced a price hike.
How much is the PS5 Pro? Does anyone know?
To their Switch 2. The Xbox has raised its price 3 times since 2025.
Jesus!
And the scariest part is not even the extra money, it's what's happening around it. Because at the same time, PlayStation announced it's going to stop shipping physical game discs entirely. Xbox has axed.
Yeah, just fuck you. Yeah, just fuck you. If you have like physical discs, no backwards compatibility in the future consoles, nah, you're not going to be able to run your discs anymore. You're only going to be able to play these games using the old hardware. That's just how it be now. Yep, your discs now mean nothing. It's crazy. Like, we're actually, you will own nothing and you'll be happy about it era is truly upon us.
5 of its big game production studios and fired thousands of people in what's being called one of the biggest single layoffs in gaming history, all while Nvidia has started capping how many hours a month you're allowed to play when using their services. The craziest part? Everything I've just mentioned is linked. This is actually all part of a single chain reaction that's already started in the gaming industry.
Dude, this editing is crazy.
And I don't see where it stops.
Dude, everything's just so fucked. I really think, yo, hi, thank you for the sub, lovely. Thank you for the sub. Can you turn it up? Is it quiet? Is it actually quiet? I can turn it up. I genuinely think that this is going to impact the quality of games that come out. New hardware is going to become more expensive. The new next generation of consoles is going to be so expensive due to the requirements that it needs, memory, everything. No one's going to be able to afford them. Developers aren't going to be making games for those consoles anymore. Like, innovation in gaming of like how we push the limits is really going to be now reserved for the super mega rich. That's what it is. Like, the time of like gaming being consumer friendly is over. And there's less incentive to innovate in gaming now because there's less audience will be available to get those consoles. And if they do, it's just going to be available to the super mega rich people. It's crazy. It's the death of like normal consumer gaming as we know it, in my opinion.
To understand what I mean, if we were to take apart this PlayStation 5, inside you would find 16 gigabytes of RAM, or memory, which it needs to be able to run games. A single AI chip from Nvidia, the Blackwell Ultra, requires 288 gigabytes of memory, 18 PlayStation 5's worth of RAM. Now, it is a fancier type of memory than what's in your PlayStation, but it's made on the same production lines by the same companies. So every gigabyte that goes...
So they'd rather prioritize this than for consoles. Oh, fuck.
Goes into this is a gigabyte that can't be made for a PS5. And the problem is when AI companies buy chips for their data centers, they don't just buy one. Chips are sold in racks, each containing 72 of those AI chips. So one rack equals 1,300 PlayStation 5.
That's insane! 1,300? And obviously these data centers are going to have hundreds of racks. Okay. Honestly, this is just all a supply and demand issue. How do we increase production of chips? Isn't that only like 3 companies that do it, right? There's only very few places where chips are actually made. Like, we just need to... Okay. Find the source!
Oh dear. And they don't just buy one rack. Racks are purchased in clusters. Last year, Microsoft switched on their first big cluster to help power the growing needs from OpenAI's ChatGPT models. That cluster was 64 racks.
Yeah, you can't even vote with your wallet because, like, if you just boycott, like, oh, I'm never buying consoles, these companies, okay, it doesn't matter. AI companies are, like, buying from us in huge amounts anyway. Like, that's why, like, Crucial, for example, stopped making consumer-grade, like, memory because they don't care about the consumer market because it's such a small portion of their revenue. It doesn't matter to them. I think NVIDIA is going a very similar way. Consumer market is just, like, such a small revenue share. Why would they bother to cater to it?
In one go, 83,000 PlayStation 5s. And here's where it gets Truly terrifying. Even that was barely a test run compared to the scale on which these new servers are being set up now. Just a year later, OpenAI is currently building out the Stargate campus that will reportedly hold 100 times the number of racks as that first purchase. 8.3 million PlayStation 5's worth of memory in one company's one site.
How much energy? That's gonna draw the same amount of energy as like a city. That's insane. That place is, you're gonna need, they need to build like nuclear power plants next to these things to supply them with energy or something. That's fucking crazy.
That's almost enough PlayStations for every single household in the entire continent of Australia. And so when you factor in that there are also other AI companies, Meta and their even larger Prometheus site, xAI's Colossus, supposedly the world's most powerful data center, Amazon, Google, and every other big tech company who's galloping headfirst into the AI wars, we have reached a point where AI data centers are now estimated to be swallowing up 70% of the world's memory output. 70% is going into building services that we'd barely heard of 5 years ago. And that has left
insane.
Everything else on the planet that needs memory.
Like, I know it's bad. I know it was bad. I didn't realize it was this bad.
Every phone, every PC, every car, every console having to now fight over the small and rapidly shrinking pool that's left. Why don't they just make some more memory, you ask?
Dude, imagine if this like AI bubble bursts and then it's just all fucked. But then, even then, if it goes to fuck, then data centers you can still utilize for something else, technically. So, like, it's not like an entire waste, but holy shit.
Well, I don't think they want to. See, the entire world's memory supply comes from, largely, 5 companies. And if we're talking about the specific type of memory used to make RAM, that's only 3 companies: Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron. And these 3 companies could choose to invest tens of billions into new factories to be able to produce more, but that would take 3 to 4 years to build. And if there were to be an AI crash in that time, they'd have spent it all for nothing. And so why take the risk when they're currently raking in cash? These companies are...
I feel like these companies are so mega rich. They will spend so much money to try and force a bubble not to burst. Like, they will just pull off some mega shady, dumb fucking shit in order for that to not happen for as long as possible.
Currently lapping up 70 to 80% margins on their memory compared to the historical norm of 30 to 40% because of one simple fact: that their new favorite customers, big tech companies, will pay absolutely anything for it. We are in a very
Yeah, because they have unlimited money. Bro, AI companies have been given unlimited money to do whatever the fuck they want. It's insane.
Situation where basically for the first time since the dot-com bubble, some of the richest companies on the planet, like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, are not even behaving like businesses. They're spending more money than they're even making from AI because the fear of losing the AI race has actually become bigger than the fear of debt. This is a very precarious situation for the world to be in, and it puts these memory companies in such a powerful position that it feels like they've just decided to forget entirely about the consumer, with Micron actually quietly shutting down its consumer memory.
Yeah, dude, crucial. Dude, I have crucial memory. And fuck me. Fuck me, I guess I just won't anymore.
Brand crucial to focus on these data center business customers. Now, new factories are coming. Elon Musk and Intel are building a giant AI complex in Texas, for example, that will also make some memory, but none of it produces anything meaningful before 2028. Plus, almost all of that new capacity is being built for, you guessed it, the AI customers anyway, because, well, you already know now. So how much more expensive has this memory really become? Well, to give you an idea, within just 3 months at the end of last year, the price of a single 16GB stick of RAM rose almost 300%.
Dude, don't tell me, bro, stop. Don't tell me about it. When I got my PC, oh my God. I need more RAM. That's the crazy thing. I've got 32. I need 64 gigs. I'm fucked. I'm not spending that much money on a RAM stick.
To Tom's Hardware's RAM price index. Asha Sharma, CEO of Xbox, has said the price we paid for console storage components was over 2 times as high as we paid last fall. These costs have since doubled again, and as we plan for the 2027 holiday season, we expect another significant increase, taking us over 5 times the prices we paid only 2 years earlier. 5 times. Memory is getting so expensive that, according to a report from TrendForce, on some high-end graphics cards, the memory that's on the card, known as the VRAM, now accounts for up to 80% of the total cost. Let that sink in.
That's
the actual
insane.
clever bit of the graphics card that you should be paying for, the GPU chip that companies like Nvidia spend billions designing, is on some cards now costing less than the basic memory
That's fucked up.
soldered around it. Here's where it starts to get problematic. The implications from these higher prices are bigger than they first seem, because when the prices go up, of course, fewer consumers buy. Like if we take PlayStation, in May 2026, just after the price hike, Americans bought fewer PlayStations than they had in any May since the year 2000. That's before the PlayStation 2 had even come to America. Xbox had the worst May in its entire history, and it's much bigger.
Xbox is fucked. I don't know how you save it. I don't know how you save it. Like, it's so in the pits. It's really bad. Like, they laid off a bunch of studios. They're rolling back their prices on like Game Pass and things like that. It's rough.
Than just PlayStation and Xbox. Any company that makes any type of computing hardware. I was speaking to the director of one of the big Windows handheld companies, the companies that make this kind of stuff, and his words were, man, Windows gaming handhelds and computers are dead now. No company will launch new products if the memory prices continue to rise. It is crazy now. How bad do things need to be for a director of a currently operating business to call their own business dead? Even like...
That's crazy. Also, like, new consoles. How are they going to release new consoles? We're never going to see the PlayStation 6. That's never coming out. Like, why would Sony release a PlayStation 6? It's not going to happen. We're going to be stuck with PS5 generation consoles for like at least another like 5 years.
Valve, typically the strongman of value gaming, just launched their Steam Machine, a box
Oh, and this was rough too.
that's barely as powerful as the 6-year-old PS5 for $1,049. It's not going to be the next Steam Deck, put it that way. So all of a sudden, the home console, the bastion that for 30 years has been the affordable way to game, the thing your mum could buy you at Christmas, is quietly drifting away from a staple to a luxury purchase.
And that means less people playing games, less reason for developers to innovate to make cool games because they're going to make less sales. I'm just thinking about it from a gaming standpoint. And you know what I think the consequence of this will be? I think we're going to see a massive rise in the amount of people doing mobile gaming. Think about it. Look how good some of these mobile... Woo, I know mobile optimization is a bit rough, but like Woo, Genshin, Zenless, Arknights, so many of these games running on mobile at the moment and just being the quality that they are, I truly think we're going to see a huge fucking boom in games coming out on mobile, being optimized for that hardware. A phone you already own. So rather than buy a new console, people will just like invest in one really good phone and it does their phone stuff and run games. Like, I think there's going to be an even huge boom of mobile gaming at some point and people, you know, spending more to play. If you want to play top games, people are going to be just doing it on their phones. Makeover still requires sim components. Yeah, but it's only one purchase versus getting phone and then console, or phone then PC parts, right? You might as well play on a device you already have.
Now, gamers aren't going to stop playing games, right? But are they going to have to start changing where they play them? Very possibly. And that's where things get concerning. If the PlayStation 6, for example, launches at 2.5 times the base price that the PS5 did, $1,000, which sounds like an outrageous prediction, but is actually what the current latest rumors are suggesting, then it's not a crazy thought that far fewer people are going to buy a PS6. And you might think, okay, I mean, that's fine, I'll just wait, I'll buy it pre-owned. But it's not about just us, the individual. See, the entire console gaming industry relies on momentum. These companies have to sell tens of millions of these consoles right out the gate to prove to developers that their new platform is worth developing.
Yeah, because otherwise, it's like the PS3 was a really good console, but it was so pricey at the time, no one bought it. Everyone got Xbox 360. So there was barely really any exclusive for PlayStation 3, really. and they all went to Xbox because that's where the user base were.
It means that a new console is basically either all or nothing. You either sell tons of boxes, have developers flooding to your platform to make games for those users, and then even more users buying your console because of those games. The Nintendo Wii is a great example of forward momentum like this, with the console eventually hitting 101 million sales. Or you bottle it at the start. You don't manage to get that initial launch trajectory. Game devs don't want to take the risk, and then pretty much nothing you do is going to save your platform. Like the Wii U, which came just after the Wii, and in its entire lifetime has only hit
no one gave a fuck
13.5
about the
million.
Wii U.
So my question is, how on earth are Sony or Xbox going to build any kind of momentum with their next-gen consoles if they're priced at $1,000? If the PS6 launches and only 5 to 8 million people buy one in the first year, whereas 80 million people are currently on PS5s, which platform are developers going to prioritize their games for? Obviously the old one. Sure, they'll make a version that runs at a higher resolution for the latest hardware.
Do you know what? This also means if we're going to be running on older hardware for longer, this means developers, now's the time to like optimize your fucking games. You can make good games with the shit that's already there. It's just got to be optimized. I think this is also a great time for like indie games too. You know, like stop trying to rely on new hardware to run your games. No, like game optimization is so fucking important more than ever now.
But any sensible developer who's going to have to spend maybe half a decade pouring everything into their next game is going to do everything to make sure that it's PS5 users who
DLSS and FrameJet does all the work, but that's not the point. Like, developers shouldn't have to rely on DLSS and FrameJet to do the work. They should just optimize and make good games out the bat. If we're going to be with this hardware for longer, spend time making these games run right.
Getting an optimal experience, because that's where the money is. So now there is even less reason to upgrade. And the spiral descends. Because here's the thing, Sony more so than Xbox is a little bit protected in the short term. If no one buys a PS6, then they do still have this giant PS5 install base to sell subscriptions and games to. But the install base of a console is like a melting ice cube. Consoles break, they get sold, they get retired, and players do slowly lose attachment and stop buying games for it across its lifetime. They drift over to PC, phones, or just out of the hobby. Normally, the thing that replenishes this pool of active users is the next-gen console. So if the PS6 ends up too expensive to do that, then the paying population for companies like Sony is going to shrink every year, with nothing refilling it. So, if these companies want to continue to maintain their profits, they have to claw back money from other places. And as far as I can see, there are 4 ways that they could do this. The first lever they can pull is subscriptions. I think these companies will raise the price of subscriptions and will make it feel more essential.
Oh, Game Pass tried doing that, and they raised it so high, they had to walk it back and lower it again. Because it was so high. So I don't know. The people just didn't accept it. And they had to lower it. I doubt they'd go back and like raise them again.
To pay a monthly fee.
Nintendo, I see doing it. Yeah, it's still higher than it was before, but you know, I see Nintendo doing it, and I see Nvidia doing that rent to GPU. I really think it's going it's going down the way of like I forgot what it's called, the Nvidia GeForce like Go or Now or whatever the fuck it is, where you can just like pay a subscription and virtually use a computer to run any game on, and the game just gets streamed to you, like that kind of stuff. I think it's a really cool idea, but it really depends very heavily on how good your monitor is, how good your internet connection is. FPS games on it tend to be kind of like shit. So, but I see a lot more people using those services. A lot of people, but people who can't afford like components at all. I see that being a massive thing. Yeah.
To get the experience. I mean, Xbox tried an enormous price increase at the end of last year to its Game Pass, then realized they went a little too far and pulled it back a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still more expensive than it was. And Nintendo's already started jacking up online costs 2 months ago in Japan. So
Yeah,
who knows
bro,
how...
of course. I fully expect Nintendo to. Fully expect Nintendo to.
long till that becomes global. Lever 2 is game prices. And we've already been seeing a lot of this before.
And like Nintendo, Sony already like got rid of like physical discs.
before the memory crisis. Like $60 was the default price for a game for 15 years. Then it jumped to $70 in 2020, only to now start another jump to $80, just 5 years after. If things carry on like this, we might be seeing the $100 video game sooner than we'd like to. The third lever is control. This is what we've just seen happen with Sony, announcing that from 2028 onwards, they're going to cease distribution of physical discs. And this might seem completely unrelated to what's happening here, but the key thing that this move achieves for Sony is rerouting a lot of the money in the gaming market that wasn't previously going to them, back to them. Because it means...
Yeah, because like reselling, right? Like you'd buy a game and then you could like resell it on later and Sony doesn't see any of that money. But now they have total control of who buys their games. You can't get one like secondhand for cheaper. Like, nope, you just got to buy direct from the store. It eliminates that whole aspect, doesn't it? It's
you can't sell
yeah,
your games
you're
anymore. When
fucked.
games are digital, they are tied to your account.
I know, you just
effectively
don't own
shutting
anything
down
anymore.
The entire secondhand market. It means that if your friend wants to play the same game you're playing, you can't just lend it to them. They can't just pop over to eBay and grab it for $20. They have to make an entirely new, maybe $80, maybe $100 purchase direct to Sony. And if that doesn't already sound like a problem, look at this. On my PlayStation right now, if I want to buy, say, Immortals of Avian, a game that, safe to say, flopped pretty hard, Sony is currently selling that for £69.99. That exact same game, I can pop onto my phone, go onto CEX, and order the physical edition for £5.
That's insane! What?
It is crazy to think that this second option could just disappear. And crazier
Oh my god, that's insane.
still, that this is how Sony prices games while these other options still exist. What are they going to do when there's no other option? To clarify, when Sony accesses the discs, you will still be able to buy their games at other retailers, but you'll be buying a download code that still has to go through the PlayStation Store to get you the games.
I don't know what I expected.
So Sony will control the price, more so than they ever have been able to with discs. I wouldn't go as far as to say that Sony axed the disc.
All of this is just fuck the consumer. That's all it is. It's just fuck the consumer. Fuck you. Fuck the consumer or whatever. Blah, 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 blah.
Because of AI. But I do think that Sony axing discs is a sign of a squeezed, desperate industry, and that squeeze is largely brought on by this AI boom. And even if these discs don't officially die till 2028, it feels like the beginning of the end is now, with GTA 6, maybe the biggest game launch in history. But the only...
Did you hear that Netflix is getting like an exclusive preview of GTA 6? Did you hear that? That's crazy. Like, for 6 hours, Netflix is getting exclusive preview of GTA 6. And then 6 hours later, it's going up on YouTube. How much money did they have to pay for that? That's crazy.
physical thing about the physical edition is a download code, at which point they might as well just be digital only. And Nintendo too, because their game cartridges rely on the same type of flash memory that's rocketing up in price, publishers on Switch 2 are increasingly shipping dataless game key cards. Like Elden Ring, it's a cartridge in a box that doesn't actually have the game on the cartridge,
key
just
card.
a key that downloads it. So when you put it in, you're the one who has to download it, and you're the one using up your internal storage instead of theirs. And the fourth lever that these companies can use to recoup their costs, the darkest one I'm getting to. But for the time being, can you see how it's already getting more expensive and just worse to be a console gamer? This is even leading to some insiders claiming that while Sony originally planned to launch PS6 in 2027, that it has now been delayed to 2028 or later.
This is never coming out, bro. This is it. PlayStation 6 is never coming out. There's no way. There's no way.
And whichever way this turns out, there is absolutely
I think if they did, okay, here's my thinking. I think they're gonna be selling the PlayStation 6 at a loss. I think they're gonna be selling it at a loss, and they're gonna try and make back all the costs by this like lack of digital or lack of physical discs. I think they're gonna try and get. Well, yeah, all costs are sold as a loss. No, but I think they're going way much as a loss. And I think they're going to be jacking up prices of games. And they're going to be trying to acquiring as many exclusives as possible. I think they're going to be doing it even more, though. I think they're going to take even more of a percentage of a hit than they usually do. And jacking up prices of games. Sell more accessories, whatever the fuck it is. It's gonna be insane. And I think they're just gonna try to acquire as many exclusives as possible.
No doubt that we're about to see slower progress in games becoming next generation. And there's even a supposedly claiming that the next gen consoles
because
will ship
they get a 30% cut of everything that gets sold. That's why I mean, like, I think they're gonna jack up the prices of literally everything.
with less RAM than originally planned and a lower speed bandwidth, as if there weren't already enough reasons to be concerned about them. I was originally wondering, one upside of AI is that maybe you don't need that new hardware. We've already seen with NVIDIA's DLSS 5 tech that AI has the ability to massively upscale the resolution of games, make them run smoother, and even improve the lighting in real time. But
some of that looked like shit though. But some of it looked so bad.
Most of this tech can only run on new compatible AI hardware, which the current gen consoles are just not. Unfortunately, it's not just gaming companies and gaming consumers who are losing out in this spiral, because the final lever that brands like Sony and Xbox are going to have to pull is cost cutting. Like I mentioned, Xbox has actually divested 5 big game studios, including the people behind massively popular titles like Hellblade and Psychonauts, and in the process also axed around 3,200 jobs. This is one company's one set of layoffs, and still it means 3,200 potentially talented level designers, graphic designers, voiceover artists who were previously working on the next generation of games, who there's a very good chance are just not anymore. Keyword talented. Reportedly, the layoffs even include around half of the team at id Software.
Cause like, who are you gonna be making games for? It's so sad. This really, oh bro, it makes me so sad. This is gonna be the rise of the indie devs. There's like, these game companies cannot afford to invest millions upon millions and hundreds of millions into like these big game titles anymore. It just doesn't make sense for them. So I really think this is the indie game time to shine. Smaller studios, like smaller groups of people, independent creators. I really think this is going to be the time when they could thrive making cool games. Like I think this is what it is. And I've kind of thought for a long time anyway that some studios are so unnecessarily large to pump out AAA slop games that are genuinely fucking terrible anyway sometimes. So in a way, it's like a good and a bad thing. I think some studios were like, should have been downsized a long time ago. You're just funneling money into something that doesn't output something amazing. We've had like so many AAA slop titles in the past like 5 to 10 years. So I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. You know, there were some studios that didn't deserve to go, people that didn't deserve to like lose their jobs, fucking obviously. But I think it puts precedent on like making good games out of passion, right? Like out of passion.
The studio that basically invented the first-person shooter with Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, and more. Now, imagine if on top of everything else, the higher prices, the dirtier tactics, the reduced focus on next generation, that we also start getting fewer big-budget games too, because there's fewer people to make them. From an industry trade analysis in May 2020.
Some of them were over-bloated with people that didn't need to be there anyway. Like, again, I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. There were some studios that are like, you'd cut down massively.
A higher hardware entry price changes the shape of the next install base cohort and feeds directly into the lifetime value assumptions that justify a green light decision at the publisher level. Or, in English, publishers decide whether to make a game based on projections of how many consoles are going to exist in the future to sell it to. This memory price surge has reduced the future projected install base, which means that games are being killed at the pitch stage right now because of RAM prices, and we're not even ever going to know which ones. And I think there's a very good chance that this also affects the innovation in games, because doing new things is a risk. When projected install bases shrink, it means that the threshold for something to become greenlit is going to become tighter. So the games that make it through that are increasingly going to be those easy, safe wins. Games like the new Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, a beloved 13-year-old game that's been rebuilt cheaply, targeted at hardware people already own, and absolutely filled to the brim with in-game monetization. Or for
okay, to be fair, the original game also had a ton of in-game monetization. To be fair.
For example, Jason Schreier recently reported that Obsidian, one of the other top game devs, they're ending work on a new unannounced RPG game to work on the next iteration of Fallout, the safe, known entity. These are dark times for video games. I mean, EA is even
I think it's dark times for AAA slop. Bro, for multiple reasons. One, I think consumers are tired of AAA slop. That's just terrible. The market doesn't call for it. It won't accept it. You can't fork in that much money to develop stuff like this anymore. Make good games. You don't need loads. You don't need 5 million people in a studio to make a game. But yeah, I agreed with you, Log. Indie games will be on the rise. Indie games will be on the rise. We're gonna see, like, we need more studios that made, like, Expedition 33, for example. Good indie games. Like lower budget. You don't need hundreds of millions to make a great game.
going all out right now on trying to create a new standard for how in-game advertising works. And they're not scaling them back. They're actually building a platform that would let advertisers in almost real time buy ads that will then appear onto billboards and objects that you will see while trying to play your games. Now, you would hope that there will be limitations on what can be advertised where, but I am horrified by the idea of
AI 33 equals slop. Rusty's, I can't tell if you're being, like, serious or you're joking. Like it's like you are the kind of chatter that gets me in trouble in my own comments. Like you are the example of, like, I'll have people in my comments be like, your chat is retarded, and it's just like you saying the dumbest shit ever. Like, you're responsible for me getting in trouble in my comment section. It's crazy.
The big bucks on Ghosts of Yote, being knee-deep in feudal Japan, katana drawn, cherry blossoms falling, only to turn around and see a giant sign for car insurance discounts. And even if it doesn't go that far, think about it. As soon as there becomes a monetary incentive to show gamers adverts, how could that not start to change how game worlds are designed, and even what types of games are made, and how permanently online they need to be connected? Now, a lot of the issues that we've talked about, game publishers getting greedier, the layoffs, has been happening already in the background for years. I mean, especially after COVID, when companies realized that they couldn't sustain the revenues that they had when all we were allowed to do was basically play video games. So they've been finding all sorts of ways to recoup those costs, both in-game and also by culling employees.
You're fired!
Point being, the fire was already lit, but the AI crisis stacked on top of this already strained industry is like the fire brigade showing up with cans of petrol. The problems are now accelerating so fast that, yes, there's still a possibility that the memory crisis suddenly starts to ease. I hope it does. It is possible that this AI bubble, that some people are calling it, does just pop entirely. But the worrying thing is, if they don't, how much more can console and game prices keep going up and demand keep going down before this entire business model for a games console as we know it becomes unviable? I don't think very long at all. If the AI industry carries on doing what it's doing, then there's one of three things I could see happening. And I don't think any of them are good news. One, cloud gaming, like Nvidia's GeForce Now, becoming a more popular alternative, so that Nvidia can rent us the graphics card we can...
Words you just don't want to hear. Nvidia could just rent you a... Oh no, kill me. Nvidia could just rent you for a small subscription. Kill me. You know, maybe gacha games are the way, bro. Mobile phones, playing games on their phone is just the way. And it is what it is.
no longer afford to buy and own, and we can stream games from their servers for a monthly fee forever.
Yo, Regis,
And this isn't
thank you for
conjecture.
the sub,
service
Ollie.
is growing, racking up 30 million registered users, with industry analysis actually citing the hardware scarcity from this memory crisis as one of the big three drivers of that. 30 million is a huge amount of people. Not an entirely fair comparison, but that's basically the same number of people that have bought the current gen Xbox Series S and X combined. And what makes this so depressing that it's almost funny, Nvidia just this January has enforced a 100-hour a month playtime cap on paid GeForce Now accounts. Obviously that's not going to affect every user, but it paints quite the picture of what the world could look
100 hours. That's kind of rough. Like, if there are some games you get really into, and you like imagine like GTA 6 comes out, You're gonna be spending more than 100 hours in a month, bro. Like
when you don't own your hardware. The second thing I could see happening is older classic games becoming not just something that you revisit because you fancy a bit of nostalgia, but something that you settle for because it's a whole lot more affordable. We've already started to see this on PC, where the majority of all PC playtime now goes towards games that are over 6 years old. And a recent survey from Tom's Hardware, a public...
Bring back good games, bro! Stop with the slop, but just make good fucking games. That's why, like, I'm currently playing, like, a bunch of classics. Like, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna play a bunch of games that I never played before, that I never got the chance to. I've just been in the middle of playing Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. It's like, that's a game like 12 years fucking old. I'm going back to play games that I missed that are still really good. You know, because that's where I'm at. Just release good fucking games.
That's only really going to be read by PC enthusiasts, finding that 60% of their readers won't be upgrading any hardware for at least the next 2 years. And then the third situation is mobile gaming becoming more of a default. See, all tech is getting more expensive.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Oh, Honkai Star Rail on the App Store, bro. Like legit, because like, why would you buy a console? Just play games on your phone. Just play games on your phone. And so like people like I think phones are gonna be like maybe okay. I think phones will get more expensive, obviously because they need components too. But you buy a phone once, you don't have to buy a console. That's what I think will happen. No one's gonna buy consoles anymore, and it's just gonna be what is in your phone. That's what I predict the future is gonna be. It's not gonna be consoles. It's gonna be handhelds. It's gonna be phones. That's where gaming is. Like streaming games from like your phone to your TV, something like that is what it's gonna be next.
Right? PCs, consoles, and that includes smartphones too. But people are still going to buy a smartphone because it's considered much more of an essential than a games console. So if the user base of the smartphone remains steady, and if anything continues to rise, while the pool of people who can keep up with the increasing costs and difficulties of being a console or PC gamer falls, of course I could see a situation where developers are much more incentivized to put their eggs in...
Why do you think there are so many fucking gacha games? Well, there's so many gacha games and mobile games or games made for mobile now. Because it's accessible. It's the biggest user base.
Into the mobile basket. Am I happy about that? Hell no. Console games are held to a certain standard that mobile games just aren't. And it's not like you can just make console
gacha games
and then put them on mobile. This has been tested time and time again. Resident Evil 4, Death Stranding, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and commercially, they largely flopped. They cost near console money and barely anyone bought them because mobile gaming rewards free-to-play, battle passes, and in-game currencies and adverts.
Gacha games. Gacha games. Oh, we're the problem. We're the problem. We're the problem.
So the future that I'm worried about is not your favorite...
That just means more games are going to be made free-to-play but heavily monetized. That's the answer, right? That's it. It just means more games are going to come out like that. That's literally it.
Console game, but smaller on a phone. It's this entire industry where the only economically sane thing for a game dev to do is to build endlessly monetized, free-to-play machines. Games that are not designed around spectacle and hardware-pushing experiences because no one has the hardware, and instead are all about just reusing safe IPs that have worked before, remaster after remaster, made by fewer and fewer people. And it's about what we lose on the way, from the games that you can no longer borrow from your friends, to the graphics cards that you might have to borrow from your not friends. The industry will find a way to claw its money back from the one group of people who can't pass that cost on. That's us. I'm a console gamer at heart, but I've actually noticed myself becoming more of a mobile gamer these last few months. I'm currently playing a ton of Pokemon Champions on my phone instead of the Switch, and even my second favorite franchise, Monster Hunter, their next game is mobile only, and it's just created yet another reason why Surfshark VPN, our sponsor, has a permanent place in my control center. Because the moment that your gaming moves to your phone, your gaming moves to the internet full time. You're playing on cafe Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi, airport Wi-Fi, and every one of those networks is a vulnerability. So the fact that I can just single tap here and know that every account login, every payment detail is all encrypted before it leaves my phone is a massive piece of...
Bro, I need a sponsor from a VPN company again. I will shill the fuck out of you because I am based in the UK and I cannot do anything on my phone or anything without a VPN. So I swear to God, I will sing praises for days because I use literally one every fucking day.
Especially since the rise of AI is actually making it much easier for scammers to use that info to convincingly deceive you. And unlike the immense price creep that we've seen across the entire gaming industry, Surfshark's price is still as low as it gets. With the code boss, it's $2 a month for an unlimited number of users.
Dude, this is such a good video and kind of outlines a lot of feelings that I've had too. And it's cool to see it like broken down like this. But my conclusion is, yeah, mobile gaming's on the rise. Mobile gaming on the rise. Free-to-play games are going to be the norm for multiple reasons. Not only do they rake in more money if done well, more people can play, more accessibility. It's just going to happen. More free-to-play gaming is happening. Look at Ananta, right? That's coming out like apparently soon. Apparently there's a whole last test over now for Ananta and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a sad future for gun and ball players. Well, maybe not ball players, because that's heavily monetized too, but we'll see. Anyway, if you want more gaming reacts and stuff like this, I'm live every single day. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys in the next one.